Hi folks, welcome to Curatorial Knits. My name is Lily and I am a knitter and sometimes knitwear designer based in Northern California. And I'm also a art curator and human involved in arts and the art world. And this is a podcast where I talk about how those two parts of myself really interact and the aesthetic choices that I make with my knitting. I am sitting here on our first properly chilly, cold, rainy fall day here in the Bay Area. I will just say in advance, I have no idea what the lighting is going to do. I have all the lights blazing and a spotlight kind of directed at me right now, and it is bucketing down raining. We had a few days of kind of like light rain earlier this fall in September, which was really nice and felt like a kind of deep breath, but this is truly like torrential, like skies opening up, bucketing down rain. And it feels really, really good to be home and to be cozy. And my kids were home for the day and they we had so much fun doing like indoor games with some of their friends. And it's just getting me really excited for our fall times and our fall days. And this will be our first series of holidays also with our new dog, and like he's just an added element in the house now, and this was his first time seeing like real rain today, and he was so funny and like, what is happening? So confused. I'm a summer dog. What is this? Anyway, it was really fun. So that's the kind of time and space I am coming from, and what I'm looking forward to is my big trip to the East Coast coming up this week. I am going to be trying really hard I'm filming this on Monday, October 13th, and I will be doing my darndest to edit everything. It might be a kind of quick and dirty edit, so apologies if there's no bells and whistles or anything, and get this up before I head out of town for the Reinbeck New York Sheep and Wool Festival, as well as Woolen Folk and Cake and all the other festivals happening in the Hudson Valley in New York State this weekend. And then I'll also be doing a few days in New York City, where I lived for many, many years, and some of my dearest humans on the planet are still there. So I'm gonna get to spend some time with them. I'm gonna go see some shows. We can talk all about that in a little bit, maybe at the end. But game plan for today. All right, fall happening stuff. We're gonna talk about FOs and whips. We're gonna do a little summary of my Reinbeck plans, like what I'm looking for when I'm there, and just looking forward to that experience. I also might want to talk a little bit about what I'm going to bring to wear, and then I want to talk about fall faves, because I have a few things I want to kind of shout out that have been really making my fall special. And we have giveaway winners from our giveaway for the Curator Sweater KAL, which is my first sweater design, and always will be linked below in case anyone wants to hop on it. I have seen such a huge increase in pattern sales for the sweater even after the KAL finish. So I think a lot of people are posted their photos on Ravelry and on Instagram, and it's really interesting. Also, it's sweater weather, but huge increase in the sweater pattern sales over the last week or so, like week to 10 days, even kind of farther along after I posted my last video. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but feels really good. And I'm so glad I'm going to be seeing at least a few of them in the wild at Reinbeck, because people have messaged me to let me know that they'll be wearing them, which just, I don't know, makes me feel so happy and proud. And yeah, so we'll be announcing the 3 winners of our giveaway from Bed of Roses, which is very nice. I am drinking tea out of the cup that came with the lovely package that they sent me. So lovely. And isn't this just the cutest colorwork mug? So autumnal. And yeah, in the Reinbeck plans too, I'll talk a little bit about, where I'm staying and kind of what my plans are, and then I'll do a recap, of course, when I'm back. Anything else? Yes, we'll probably end with kind of future cast on plans because there's just a lot going on and I would love, I would truly, truly love some help and guidance from this community in terms of what's next. I feel like my knitting is, I just have so many things I want to do and my time that I have is so much more limited. And so I have to be just really, I feel like really judicious about the projects that I'm choosing in a different way and the kind of headspace that I have for them as well. So I would love that help and backup, and maybe we'll save that at the end. But I have a few like partial whips projects, things that are ready to be cast on now that I really want to bring out and chat about. So we'll get down to business. I'm wearing Ooey Gooey. This is the Reinbeck sweater for the Reinbeck Knit Along, hosted by Andrea Mowry and Spin Cycle Yarns, and Farmer's Daughter Yarns too, I think. This is mine. She's really fun. I used the Spin Cycle and then paired it with mohair. If you'd like a more in-depth conversation about how I do that and why I think it's such an effective thing to do, please watch my previous episode. I'll link it down below. And I did a couple things, modifications with this sweater. I wasn't even, to be honest, sure I was going to knit the Reinbeck sweater this year, but it was really nice to just follow instructions. I think I knit this in, I want to say definitely less than 4 weeks, maybe even just 3 weeks. It's pretty cropped, but it looks really, really good with my like kind of 70s high-waisted jeans. So that's what I'll like, really kind of wide leg, high-waisted jeans. That's what I'll be wearing it with. So I was happy to have it cropped. Modifications that I made, in addition to holding a mohair with the Spin Cycle to kind of help slow down the increases there, I split for sleeves about I want to say almost 2 inches. That might be an exaggeration, but definitely over 1 inch earlier than called for in the pattern, which is my want because I like more arm movement and less penguinness. And I also found that, I don't know, the neck is much more open than I expected. I was thinking that it was going to be more together, and I don't know if that's a me thing and I just didn't knit my ribbing as tightly as I usually do, but I think maybe there's just a lot more stitches on this neckline, on the cast on edge, and then the increases are more subtle, but I do really like the shoulder fit here. And this is really interesting too, something that I do in my pattern, which we'll talk about in a little bit, my colorwork pattern, which is currently in testing. I have the increases for the short rows, or not increases rather, but the like short row wedge for the back is, instead of it being in the main color after the ribbing, I have that in the ribbing itself, and I do really like that, and that's also the case with this pattern, and I do think that that's really effective, and then it creates a really nice clean line when you go into your color work. And for my pattern, while I don't have one of these welts or anything, one thing that I really liked in my first sweater design is after the ribbing to have just one row of little pearl bumps. I think it's a nice kind of finishing touch. It's super easy, but it makes a kind of lovely, more sophisticated impact, I think. So I do that again in the Color Compass sweater pattern, and I think it makes a difference to not then have a wedge after that, because I was really debating, you know, I want to be able to have this, I need short rows to come before the color work because I want people to split for sleeves earlier and not do short row shaping after the color work is complete. But I also really wanted to have that clean pearl bump edge again, and so this really neatly solves that problem. And so I'm sure that the reason that's the case in this pattern is because of these welts. And it's so funny now, because of designing, I feel like I know a little bit more about why people make the choices that they make, and that's just one of those really kind of fun, I feel like I have a little bit more behind the scenes knowledge there. It's like, oh, that's why you would do that, because you wouldn't want the main color to disrupt that short row wedge to disrupt this really clean line. overall, I think it's a super, super fun pattern. I feel like, especially again, that like it has this kind of fun 70s vibe. The welts are really fun to do, but the welts at the cuffs, mine just look kind of wiggly, and I feel like maybe I need to reblock them a little bit. I might put an elastic in here as well. Overall, I did find that the sleeves for me are they're a little long, and I would have probably wanted some stronger decreases, but then that's also just my preference. Yeah, so I think I could have done with some stronger decreasing here to really make this kind of snug and taut, but I might just put an elastic in there. The yarn I used for the main color is really cool. It was really fun to hold too. This is Pure and Simple Wool from Lavanidole, and I used their fingering wool and mohair blend in the twig sweater, and I did really love that. And then this is all wool, and it's like a single ply. Hold it up, see if it'll get it. Don't look at me. And so yeah, it's a single ply, there we go, yarn. It's got nice halo to it, lots and lots of bounce, and it's really round, really round and bouncy. Really fun to knit with. I will say though that I did get some pooling on one of the skeins, but only on one, and so I was kind of off to the races. This is all one here, and then as soon as I entered into the next skein, I started to see the pooling. So I went back and forth with helical knitting on all 3 balls of yarn that I had, just to try to mix it up, because the 2 that didn't pool were also not exactly the same. And I will say all of the yarns are from the same color lot. So while I really enjoyed the yarn, I think especially in the darker colors, that's just something I would be aware of. Like, it is hand dyed, it is very tonal, even though it's not a variegated yarn. So something to keep in mind. And you can see it probably most exaggerated on this sleeve. You can kind of see that, but I really don't mind it. And I did pair it so that the sleeves and then the body, like where the pooling happens, that kind of striping effect, it happens all at the same point when I put my arms down. So for me, that was very helpful aesthetically. I think that it works a lot. So yes, Ooey Gooey by Andrea Mowry, spin cycle held with mohair scraps, and then Pure and Simple sport weight yarn. And it's a thick sport weight. I would say this is really approaching a DK. And I had a really fun time with it. It was really nice to kind of turn off my brain and just knit. And that's something we'll be talking about later when it comes to trying to figure out what my next cast on project might be. So, okay, similar, not really similar, but kind of similar color story. We are going to be talking about the color compass. So for those of you all who have been here before, you'll know that I designed a colorwork sweater, which I was talking about before with that short row detailing element. And you all were very helpful in selecting my colors. I did go with the pink with my teals. So we've got some really fun teals. These are from Sonder yarn. This is the Sunday Morning Luxe Sport Weight. Now, I want to talk gauge for a second. My original version of this sweater was knit in Nutiden, which is really, you know, there are no kind of hard and fast rules. Like, let's be honest, the way unspun yarn behaves really changes with who is knitting it. I think it's really flexible yarn. The gauge that I got for that project, both in color work and in the single color, is 22 stitches per inch. My swatch for this version in the sport weight yarn was also 22 stitches. And it remained 22 stitches through the 1x1 color work into the smaller motifs. And then as I got into the large kind of, yeah, the large motif, it tightened up. It's like really, it's approaching, if not spot on, for 23. So I just want to be like full transparency there, and I will make a note of it. I don't think that this will impact my wearing of the piece and the size that I'm knitting. I'm knitting it to have, but it will have less positive ease than my other version. So that's just getting that out of the way. And it's just a good reminder to like keep checking. Luckily, this pattern also has, you know, the ability to increase after the sleeve split. And it's written in the pattern for the larger sizes 6 through 11 to increase after that split. And I also though have the stitch counts and the chest circumference for the other sizes should they also like to make that increase. So in the size chart, folks will be able to see both upper bust and full bust circumference measurements. So for this sweater that I'm wearing now and for the sizes 1 through 5 of the color compass, it's a circular yoke where you will not increase for sizes 1 through 5 as written after the split for sleeves. But should you want to, there are, you know, instructions for how to do that, and you can look at the charts for sizes 6 through 11. Sizes 6 through 11 will continue to increase, and yeah, that's that. And it allows us again to make sure that people have more arm mobility and also get just a better, I hope, a better fitting sweater experience. So I am not sure if I'll be adding those or not. It depends on how this feels when I try it on. I was really hoping that I'd be already split for sleeves after as I hopped on to film today, but that just didn't happen. But instead, we can kind of check out what this looks like. I love my color palette. Thank you guys for your feedback. Last time I did include the pink and then all of my teals. And it's been really, really fun seeing the color palettes come out of the test knit group where we have a really fun chat going in the tester crew. There are also, if you would like to join, I still have openings in sizes 8, 10, 11. I think someone just hopped on 9, but 8, 10, and 11, there's still plenty of room if you would like to knit one of those sizes. I would love that. And if you are a borderline on one of those other size, any size, you know, 7 through 11, do like jump on my DMs and I'll send you the measurements and see if that's something you might be interested in. I am really, really happy, like I said, with the color palette of mine. The color palettes coming out too are so exciting from my testers. Some people are doing 2 colors, some people are doing 3 colors. And what's really fun is that with the help of one of my testers who uses Google Sheets for planning out her own color work, I actually made a coloring sheet. So you'll be able to, either on your computer or just printing it out, do a little kind of paint by number action and really be able to conceptualize what your color choices will look like. And I'm really excited about that process. I think it's going to be super, super fun and really give us some insight, because I want people to, as I said before, use this pattern as a real jumping off point for your own creativity. And what else can I say about this? I'm making a higher, my neckline is a little bit higher. I went a little bit further before my, what are they called? Short rows this time. But I think it's good, but it looks really, really cute as like a little turtleneck vibe. I might fold it over, but I don't think so. I think it's really working for me there. And as you can see, I inverted some of the colors myself in this version. And I really, really love the pop of those arrows there. And then going and using the main color, I think is going to be really fun in the larger motif as well. And what else? I think that's it for this. I cannot wait. I'm really hoping I do finish the color work portion of the body so that I can take this on the plane to Reinbeck and just be knitting in the round in this beautiful brown color. I can't believe I don't have any brown sweaters. That's not true. I have a kind of oatmeal brown cardigan that I made like 2 or 3 years ago, the Champagne cardigan by Petit Knit. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think it's gonna look so good. And this brown, I think, is this right? It's called Teddy Bear, and it just makes me want to squeeze it. So soft. So anyway, very excited about this project and finishing it up for, I had a moment 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago where I thought, oh, I could totally finish that for Reinbeck. And like, no, that was just not going to happen. I think there's just no way. I just have to be okay with that. Yeah, lots of that happening right now. Ambitious knitting plans stymied by reality, better sleep hygiene, and parenting, really. Okay, next, Reinbeck plans. So that's a good segue. I am leaving Wednesday night. I'm taking the red eye with my friend Megan again, who did Reinbeck recap with me last year. So I was thinking I should rewatch that episode just to be like, what do I need to like remember and not miss? We did book this trip back in May, so we'll be staying in a much more, I want to say like vacation appropriate space. We're really excited about it. It's this beautiful Airbnb right on a big, like very large pond / small lake right by the Hudson River. And yeah, I'm very stoked about our Airbnb this year. I think it's gonna really feel like a break and a vacation, and I'm really excited about that. So we'll get in on Thursday morning, grab our rental car, drive up, and hopefully have a chill first night and get some knitting done, stock up the Airbnb with some apples and some really good coffee. And then on Friday morning, we'll be going to Woolen Folk, and then I believe we're gonna try to go to Cake Palooza. We have not been to Cake Palooza before, so we'll see how that goes. And then I think we're gonna have a little like mini knit night on Friday night with some friends and maybe grab some dinner or order something into the Airbnb with some folks. And then Saturday, we have the main event at Reinbeck Sheep and Wool at the fairgrounds. I'm very excited to see some of the producers I'm really looking forward to seeing again. And then of course, I always like finding new folks and new reasons to keep coming back. I will definitely be, I don't know if I'll be wearing this or bringing the Ooey Gooey, but this will be for Saturday because I love seeing everyone wearing wearing the same thing all together. It just like makes my heart sing. But I'm not sure what the weather's gonna be like. So it's gone back and forth between being like perfect sweater weather, late or like high 50s, low 60s perfection to like high 60s rain. And then it's gone back and forth like 3 or 4 times. So clearly we'll be dealing with some sort of moisture coming into the area, but I don't know on which days. So that's going to impact stuff. I think we should be clear and fine and potentially no rain on Friday. And I think I'll be wearing my Nutiden, like original version of my color compass. So that'll be really fun. And then I will be wearing this or my white Curator sweater, which will be much warmer and kind of easier to style with a rain jacket is my key element here. And then on Sunday, or on Saturday night, we're going to have a much kind of larger knit night that other folks host, and we'll be helping out with that. And then on Sunday, we're going to go back to Jill Draper's morning event. That I cannot recommend more. I had so much fun last year, and it was such a great way to kind of close out the experience for me. So if you guys, it's free and it's open to the public, but you do have to RSVP. So if you are interested at all in locally sourced and milled wool and hand-dyed wool all coming together in a beautiful package, I really, really recommend making your RSVP. I'll link to Jill's Instagram post all about it in the description box below, because it's a really beautiful spot and kind of a way of saying goodbye to the event too, I thought. And then from there, we're going to be driving back down, and I'll be in the city for a couple days. I'm really, really excited to see the 60s Surreal show, which is at the Whitney. And it's a show that there's a number of artists that I work with who will be included. And I just love the idea behind the exhibition, this focus on how a new version of surrealism that was really tied to the early 20th century reemerges in the American content. You know, the early 20th century, specifically European focus of surrealism, is then kind of reinterpreted and reimagined for 1960s America. And I also really want to give props to the Whitney for focusing on artists outside of New York City, because so many artists on the West Coast in particular were engaged in that kind of work. And so I've seen the catalog, I'm super excited to go see the show, and I'm just really stoked too for the legacies of some artists who I think have been kind of left by the wayside, particularly in some women artists from California who are going to be included in the show. And I'm really, really excited to see the work and just to see how they are putting the whole thing together. Exhibition design is one of the things I love to nerd out about the most, because it's not just about the work that you're seeing, the art that you're seeing, it's also about how you move through that space and how the way you move through that space changes what you see on the walls and how you interpret that. So the Whitney had an amazing show on the Alvin Ailey dance troupe last time I was in the city, and that exhibition design just totally blew me away. And so I'm really excited to see what they do with this subject matter and how it shifts how they present the work. So yeah, I'm gonna nerd out about that. I'm gonna go to Russ and Daughters and some more of my favorite spots in the city, and see some friends and people who I love and miss very much. So those are my New York plans. I am going to try my best not to check a bag on the way there, but yes, probably to check a bag on the way back. Those are my goals. We'll see how it all lands, but that's the plan for the moment. Oh, what do I want to buy when I'm there? So I don't have any plans for a specific vendor, but I have a specific garment that I want to buy for. So I really want a oversized, slightly drapey, but still structural gray cardigan. I want it to be somewhat cropped, but still oversized. That's my plan. Probably fisherman's rib. I don't know if I'm going to design this pattern or find a pattern that fits this idea I have in my head. But the idea includes like some big buttons and a V-neck. And it's the kind of thing that I could wear over something as a layering piece, but also I was thinking like on its own with a steel gray, like silky skirt for some winter occasions. Is that landing? Can you kind of see it in your mind's eye? I have the image in my mind's eye, but we'll see if that materializes. So, and I want that to feel quite luxe. Of course I do. But those are the plans. So giant gray cardigan is something I'm shopping for. And then I really want to be inspired. Every single time I've gone to a knitting event or festival, I have appreciated more than almost anything else seeing these three-dimensional objects that we make in 3 dimensions on people's bodies. I feel like it's so great that we can consume media about this craft on Instagram, here on YouTube, but the way that we're consuming that and the way that we're understanding these garments is 2-dimensionally, and it really just changes the game when we're able to see stuff in person and how it moves and drapes or works on different kinds of bodies. And I think it's so much fun. So I'm really excited to be super inspired by all of the beautiful makes that I'll be seeing from everyone, and really gonna get stoked and excited for that process. So yay, yay, yay. Next up, what should I talk about next? Should we do cast-ons next or fall faves? I'll go into fall faves. So I already mentioned the 60s Surreal Show, which I'm calling a fave without having seen it. So I'll report back. Maybe it won't be a fave, but I'm very much looking forward to it. And I just love exhibition season. Like, there's something about fall. It's this, you know, big cultural push, and it's quite old-fashioned, but it works, it's true, and I love it. So I'm really excited for the exhibitions coming up, both here in the Bay Area. There's a few coming up in LA I want to see, and then being able to be in New York and see the shows, and see a couple gallery shows too that have been on my radar that I'm really excited about. The other thing that I love that I pulled out as a fave, and I don't know if this is so ridiculous or not, and I don't, again, this is not a, like, none of this stuff is sponsored that I'm going to talk about. I think I'm just going to talk about one thing though. This is like very much like the things I bought and liked moment, but I was getting ready and packing for my trip, and I got out my eye mask, and I will tell you that I'm obsessed with my eye mask. It's from Luyana, and they make washable silk pajamas. I don't have these pajamas. They look beautiful, but I do have this washable silk face mask, and I have washed this, and it's still so soft and so comfortable, and it's really effective. And I'm someone who doesn't like pressure on my eyes, and it somehow, I think it's because the band is so wide, it really blocks out all the light. And I've gotten the ones before, the eye masks that have little like cups in them. I don't enjoy those because then I feel like my eyelashes are like kind of hitting it. I don't know, it's weird. I love this. It's really, really lightweight. It does keep your eyes closed, but it doesn't feel like there's any sort of like pressure on your eyeball in any way, shape, or form. And it blocks out all of the light. I really, really love it. I'll also say that these make really lovely gifts. I have a friend who was going through a really tough time and not sleeping, and things were just tough. And we, a few other friends and I put together like a care box for her, and some of the things in the care box came from Luyana, and they delivered it in this like really beautiful way, and I think it was a really, really special gift. So anyway, I highly, highly, highly recommend the sleep mask. Particularly, I'm a terrible plane sleeper. I'm a great regular sleeper. I like go to sleep like Dracula, like I sleep like this and I wake up like this. Like I'm very, not a bad sleeper at home, but when it comes to sleeping on planes, I just can't ever kind of figure it out. And this has really, really helped me get some much needed rest. And yes, so highly recommend. Another fall favorite of mine is and this is gonna sound so dumb, like everyone has their favorite kind of tea, but I truly think that this is the best tea, and it's Yorkshire Gold. It is so good. It's my favorite black tea. I used to spend a kind of silly amount of money on a different tea that will remain nameless because it's a delightful tea, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's wonderful, and it's organic, and it's local company, and they do a beautiful job, and the packaging is lovely, and it's a great experience. But Yorkshire Gold tastes just like that tea, and it's like 1/10 of the cost per bag. So I love that. I have also mentioned in the past on the podcast the amazing Trader Joe's mint tea that I love, which is the peppermint tea. And I will say that I bought enough last Christmas time that I was able to open a fresh pack just today when it started to get cold, and I wanted some peppermint tea, like the real peppermint stick peppermint tea that I adore. So those are my two cozy tea recs. And then the other thing I want to mention, I love also, in addition to cozy tea and eye masks, I love a cozy mystery. And I think we've talked about this before, but I do consume an ungodly amount of murder mystery content. I do not enjoy true crime. That is not for me. I would like there can be like brooding, and there can be kind of some darker edges, but for the most part, I like my mysteries nice and cozy. My favorite from a few years ago was Karen Perry, and you can get it in the States on Amazon Prime / BritBox. I'm not sure. It's like the same app for me, so I'm not sure which side of it this is coming from. But I really, really enjoyed it. I think the main character is so well done, and she's just, you know, fantastically drawn character, and I think the actress who portrays her is just really lovely. And anyway, they just came out with season 2. And I watched the first episode, and I'm so excited about it that I am holding off on the second episode, which is available, because I want to download at least 2 for my travels, because I'm that excited about it. I'm also very much looking forward to the new season of The Diplomat, which is Kerry Russell vehicle. If you're not familiar with Felicity, I can just say you're probably not a millennial woman, but Felicity was like such a touchstone in my, you know, coming of age. It was such a like show that I watched with my girlfriends, and that like we talked about and obsessed about, and like became a whole like subculture. And then she went on, so she portrayed this character, and she's gone on to do so many other things, but the other show that she was in that I absolutely was completely in love with was The Americans. If you haven't watched The Americans, oh my gosh, I'm like jealous of you. It's one of those shows that I'm like, wish I could watch again for the first time. Anyway, so lovely. And now her latest outing, The Diplomat, I think is just fantastic too. So she's a total joy to watch. She's kind of like a, you know, just amazingly fun actress to kind of portray and kind of enter into these different bodies and different roles. So I really recommend that as well. And I'm not sure when the new season comes out, but I definitely am going to be rewatching the last season to prepare, which just is another excuse to watch an American woman bungling around London, which I also identify with because I did that myself for a couple years in graduate school. So those are my fall faves. And I don't know if I usually do those, but if that was distracting or not the knitting content you're here for, I apologize. But you can just get through it, and now it's the end and it's over. Next up, should we do giveaway? Yes, let's do giveaway and then advice time, because I have to figure out what I'm going to do next, because I really only have about an hour's worth of work to do on this before I split on my color compass, and then I'll split for sleeves. I'll have a little bit more color work left, and then it's just stockinette in the round, and I really need to get my next project going. All right, but before that, we have the giveaway. The giveaway for the Curator Sweater KAL, which we did over the summer into September. It was a ball. Thank you all. Thank you again to everyone who's buying the pattern now in the fall. It's amazing to see. Like, we had so many great t-shirt versions, and now there's this huge new crop of sweater, like long sleeve versions. It's just total joy. Thank you guys. I really appreciate the support. So we have 3 prizes, and we have 3 winners. One from the KAL group chat on Instagram, one from someone who posted with the hashtag about their sweater, and one from the YouTube comment section down below. Thank you all for contributing. I really appreciate you. And I sometimes do this live, but I did not do it live because there are 3, and I felt like it would take up weird amounts of time, and I'd have to load different things up into my phone, and that would be annoying for everyone. Instead, I will say that the KAL winner is Binny Bricolet, excuse me, Bricolet. I'm just not reading my own handwriting. The hashtag winner is Rachel Mady, Ratch Mady, and the comments winner is Sharon Severns 2406. And I will put your names on here in text. And now I would like you to DM me on Instagram. That is, or you can reach out to me via email, which is also in the description box below. Each of you three will be reaching out to me so that everyone knows I will not reach out to you about winning anything on YouTube. I really, really hate those spammy bots, and just so you know, I will never ask you for your information. I will never ask you for any sort of bank numbers. This is how we do it, just to keep it very simple and so that nobody gets into a bad spot. So thank you guys again. I really, really appreciate you. Please be in touch and just send me your addresses and I will send you your goodies. I'm so excited for you all. And it's always nice to get a little something in the mail. So that will be delightful. Next up, we're going to talk about what I'm going to cast on. And you guys, I just don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Wait, sorry. Okay, good. Sorry, had a little personal admin moment there. Children are safe and fine. Everyone's good. So the things that I have in progress. I love this thing, but I just don't have the mental energy right this second to figure it out. So my Curator sweater starts with a kind of interesting construction, and I think it makes for an incredible shoulder fit, which I'm low-key obsessed with. And I really want a cardigan version of that, and I want it in this yarn, and I am designing it, and I'm still at the same spot. I just have not had the bandwidth to come back to this and to really, like, this is the hardest part. I know that as soon as this is done and it's documented, I'll be off to the races, but it's really creating this fit that I need to be exceptional. And I don't know when I'm going to do that, because I need really like dedicated, non-interrupted knitting time, and I'm just not getting that. And frankly, in this color, it better be in the daylight. I'm counting stitches. It's really got to be in the daylight. So I might be able to do this over like the Thanksgiving break, but much more likely it will be a like Christmas betwixtmas situation. And I might just have to give myself a pass and say that's what's happening and hold off. But it is one of those things, it's like an open tab in my brain. It's like when you have too many tabs in your browser, when you're in Outlook, or not Outlook, whatever, in Google or Google Chrome or whatever your, internet browser of choice is, I have too many tabs. And this is an open tab, and I really want to close it or just know it's actively running, but instead it's just like sitting there, slightly killing me. But I need to be also realistic and tell myself that the kind of time that I need to dedicate to this and make it happen, I currently do not have. Can you hear my voice? Do you hear how sad that makes me really sad? It's like a really big bummer. I really want to do this. So that's a kind of possibility. The next thing I really just need to knock out, this is something that I should just keep downstairs to do when my husband and I are watching TV. Oh, I did not mention this in my fall faves. I'm so sorry. Slow Horses is back. Public service announcement. It is such a joy. So much fun. I love spies, as we've established previously, and spies being up to no good, 100% adore. So I should really just be, this is like very good Slow Horses type stuff, because I need to just repetitive motion finalize these horizontal stripes. So I'm done with all my vertical stripes. This is the Scotty sweater by Petit Knit, which I made in Nutiden, and it is very, very pretty, and I really want to wear it. And doing these duplicate stitch stripes broke my brain, and I hated it. So now I just have the horizontal ones to do, and I don't want to. I honestly I would like pay someone to finish this. This is where like I would do sample knitting for this. I really don't want to do it. And it's not just because the action of doing it is, for me, like pretty painfully boring, but also I don't think I'm that good at it. So that adds to my level of frustration because I don't know. It's just not my favorite thing. Anyway, you guys, this is why I'm gonna end up casting on something new, because the things that are in my whip pile are like things I really do want to do the other one. I just don't have the bandwidth mental space. I have plenty of mental space to do duplicate stitch, but I really don't want to. I need something in between. And so we come to the in-betweens. One is a challenging pattern, but I didn't write it. It's gonna be really fun. And I really wanna do it. And I think once I get through the yoke, it'll be very meditative, very fun. And that is my Bohus Stickling pattern. Sorry, I just flashed that chart, but I don't think you guys can see anything. This is a kit and it is stunning, and my mom got it for me and I love it, and I really want to make this thing. It's called the blue one. It's the pattern that I was gifted, not like by the company, like literally my mom gave it to me. I really want to make this, and I think I want to make it into a cardigan, but I want to steek it. I don't think it'll be, there are no instructions for how to do that, but I think I can figure it out. It's one of those things. I think we can do it. So that's something. I will put a picture. I don't know if me in 3 hours post putting kids to bed will actually put a picture in, but I will try to put a picture in. Here's a good example of the type of very, very intricate, nearly lace weight we're talking about. It'll be so fun. And I think the creativity of like where to add the steek and putting all that together, but knowing that I don't have to worry about like grading or sizing might make this actually really doable. So that's another option. I also have available to me this incredible yarn, which I'm super, super excited about. Hi, sorry about that. I had to field a what do you want to do for dinner phone call, which is basically what being married is a little bit, just asking someone else what they want to do for dinner every single day at 4 p.m. But, well, where was I? Okay, other possible cast on thoughts. I have this fantastic yarn from Diamond Lane / what are they called again? Sorry, the Bainbridge Island folks. Diamond Lane is Lamb & Kid is the name of the store. Diamond Lane is the name of the version of dyeing that this is. I don't know. It's merino cashmere. It's called Elmer. It's fingering and it's fabulous. And I have a lot of it because I want to make a dark green sweater with, this was the reason that I purchased it. And I know I had other thoughts. We were going to do this maybe, but I'm very happy where this ended. But I bought it with this super poppy, crazy purple, which I believe is actually called Trippy, is the color name. And I'm thinking what I would like to do is a raglan that is like my favorite raglan. And I think this would be a really fun, intuitive design where I get to use my own measurements and my own desire for shoulder fit to try to create a raglan that really works for lots of different folks. So this would be a design, but unlike this bad boy, where I feel like I'm just gonna be really honest, like this shoulder construction is phenomenal and it's really hard to write up and to make work. It's also adding, the collar has added a level of conceptual challenge for me. Again, I'm really happy with the way it's turned out, and I know that I really just have to execute it on the other side and then, you know, go back and forth. But there's a lot more decision points. That's what it is. Okay, so making up my own raglan sweater in fingering weight yarn has, like, that's a pullover, has a number of decision points, most of which I feel like I don't need a lot more information in order to make those choices. Does that make sense? So like that's very straight. Like there are questions, but they're straightforward and I don't need a ton more information or research in order to come up with the answer for how to do this. Meanwhile, this design project just has a lot more questions, and part of that is super exciting, but it also takes a lot of focus time. Whereas, once I get my swatch set for this, sorry, this guy came undone. Once I get my swatch set for this and I know my numbers, I know what my fold over collar will be like. This is gonna be a pullover sweater. I know I'm gonna do that pearl bump ridge again, which I think I'm gonna do in this color because it's gonna be so cute. And then I know how deep I want the neckline. So once I have my swatch math, that's all done. And I know the kind of raglan increases that I want to do and what I want that actual like pattern to look like. All of those decision points are really already done. And I feel like it would be, I think I'm answering my question, you guys, that I am going to cast this on when I get back from Reinbeck, because my other sweater will just be knit in the round. But yes, I think that's what I'm going to do. I really, really want to make this though. My like Bohus Stickning pattern. And I'm very apologetic. I know I'm probably doing a terrible job with how to pronounce that phrase. There are other whips. I have a shawl. I have 2 shawl whips. But I think in, you know, the like November, December time, I'm really going to want a sweater on the needles that I'm excited about. So what do you guys think I should do? What seems like the most exciting? Or the most exciting and doable? That's where we're looking for the Venn diagram. Exciting pattern, doable. Where is the Venn diagram crossing over? Please help. And if you have a pattern that you're super excited about, that, I mean, there's so many patterns that I don't know about. I was just gonna say that I don't know about. There are so many patterns. Like, one of the things that I think, another thing designing's really opened my eyes to is just how prolific this community is and how exciting that is, and also a little bit overwhelming. So if you post a sweater pattern that you're super excited about, that you would recommend, that you think I should knit, put it in the comments below. And then if you are someone who has also an idea of a sweater pattern that you think I should knit, check out the comments and like do a little +1. Like, I would love to take a poll and see what people think. So if someone has already, check to make sure before you post that someone else has not already said that pattern. I still want you to tell me what you liked about it, because it could be different than what the other person liked. But I would love to aggregate those comments and understand what people are making and why they love what they're making. It could be color work. I know that roses, there's like a sweater out now with these bands of roses. That looks super popular for like good reasons. I love my drop sweater, Coco Amour knitwear sweater. I wear that all the time, and I know that rose pattern is a drop shoulder pattern. So that could be fun. What else? I could throw another Petit knit thing on the needles. Maybe a Petit knit cardigan. But something with a better shoulder fit and arm fit than the champagne cardigan, because that did not work for me, my kids. that was not it. I had to do so many modifications to that sweater to try to make it fit. But there's one where it has like super intricate like cables, maybe a cabled cardigan. Ooh, cabled cardigan to use with my like new soon to be mine gray farm yarn from Reinbeck. What do you think? Do you have a favorite cabled cardi? The book club cardi is cute, but there's parts of it that I don't love and that I would swap out for other cable charts. What are you loving? I want to hear about it. I want to know. Also, if you see me at Reinbeck, say hi. If you've made it this far into the podcast, please come say hi. Also, if you've made it this far into the podcast, please like and subscribe. It really helps other people find the podcast when you do so. And now I'm just rambling and I should really sign off. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for making things and putting them out into the world. This is a better place because we make things and put ourselves out into the world with them. And now more than ever, we just have to keep making things and putting them out into the world and not being afraid to do so. Thank you for being you. And if you see me, say hi. And I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.